So this is a mod for Dead Cells that I've been working on. The goal is to just make the game generally more insane. As you can see, the move speed of enemies is increased. There's a whole lot more enemies in every single area. Their attack speed is insane. Very, very fast. They do a lot more damage than usual, but the hero's health has also been increased to 3,000, and that's just to make the game actually playable. If you were to try this with only 100 health, you'd be dead in the first room, unless you're very, very good at the game, which I am not. You might notice the roll distance has been bumped up too, and that is to avoid stun lock scenarios. I found without increasing the roll distance at all, even these archers here would have me stun locked in a corner. There'd be no way to get out. They just attack way too quickly. The multiplier on upgrades is also reduced quite a bit. Usually it's 1.43 times for strength and skill modifiers, and 1.41 for health modifiers, if I'm remembering right. I bumped it down to 1.02 times for all the modifiers. Just because there's so many of them in this first area, the hero would get way too strong if the upgrades were left at the default. You see I've picked up, I think, 2 health upgrades, and my health is only increased by 121. Regular treasure chests have a 50% chance of being decoy chests, as opposed to the normal, I think, 4% chance. And the decoy chests also have a lot more enemies inside of them. So yeah, I'm picking up a lot of strength upgrades and health upgrades, but they're really not doing a whole lot of good. Each health upgrade's only worth about 60 HP. Each strength upgrade's worth only, I don't know, a few DPS. The healing amount on the Flask is increased to be essentially a full heal. I found that even with the crazy high health 3000 start, I didn't have enough heals to survive for very long. It would probably be broken if you had a fully upgraded Flask, but I'm only playing with a 2-charge Flask, so I think it's fine. And this is just for fun, it's not aiming to be super well balanced. Completely unbalanced, and that's kind of the point. So yeah, this challenge room normally wouldn't be too bad, but look at that, there's no way. There's no way. I also increased the follow distance of the mobs, or at least I think I did. A lot of the game files are in French, so it's a little difficult to get an accurate read of what certain settings, what they govern. But I've had groups of these phaser zombies chase me from one end of this map all the way to the other end, follow me up the elevator to the ramparts, stay on you for quite a while. Seems like it's more than usual, so I think I'd increase the follow distance. And those training dummy enemies, for a while I had their health so high that they were essentially unkillable. I ended up changing that back because it just wasn't very fun. Had to rein them in a little bit. They're a little too strong. So really, rooms like these you could just totally bypass just by rolling through them. That's a downside of having a roll this long. There, just really don't have to worry about these platforms very much. One unfortunate consequence of having this high of health, you really don't have to worry about environmental hazards like spikes or poison water. They just chip away so little at your overall health. You can pretty much ignore them all. I don't know if it's possible to increase the damage that environmental hazards deal. I'm assuming it is. I didn't check. That's something that I would do in the future if I took this seriously at all. Bump those up to be at least a couple hundred damage. Now the ramparts are by far the craziest of the early game areas. It gets pretty out of hand pretty quickly here. Those casters that can shoot you through walls, just so many archers. And you can see I didn't increase the damage that those casters deal very much, if at all. They're only hitting me for 9 or 10. But there's a lot of them. Hard to deal with them all quickly. I would love to see somebody who's actually good at this game play with settings like this and see how they do it. I'm guessing a speedrunner would just roll past everything and skip most of the fun zones, but someone who's actually good clearing out all the zones, that'd be fun to watch. Now this elite shield zombie is kind of ridiculous. He is so quick to react, I can't even make it up this platform. The second I stand on that ledge, he knocks me back. Now if I didn't have this flame brand, this ranged flame weapon, I might just be stuck here. I'm not sure if there's a way to get him to leave where he's standing, because I think his follow distance is high enough where regardless of where I go on the map, he'll still be watching for me, waiting there. It's not like he's going to lose aggro. But luckily I had the fire so I could burn him down to where he starts teleporting. Make it past. But he's not going to let me go. Here I'm kind of trying to get him to jump off, so I don't have to burn him down all the way. Yeah, elites are very dangerous in this, even with crazy high health. They can pretty much kill you on their own. Playing with settings like this really changes the game from, I usually play a very calculated game, really take my time going through areas unless I'm specifically trying to get timed doors, that type of thing. But I usually really take my time, clear out rooms methodically. But here it's just complete chaos, hack and slash. I think it's pretty fun with this game's engine, you know. And this room is where things really kick off in the Ramparts. It's a pretty consistent room. Every time I've played, I think every time I've played the Ramparts, I've gotten this room very similar to this, where you get hundreds and hundreds of these bats. Well, on a normal run it would be dozens of these bats, but here it's hundreds. Their spawn density is so high. These guys do a lot of damage in a group like this. They can corner you and just burn you down. Very dangerous. So here I know the second I go down this little chain, 30 more of them are just going to be on me, so I'm trying to take my time a little bit so I don't just straight up die, because I'm out of heals. I do have the immortality, here the second chance amulet. Yeah, just no chance to do anything except for try to run away and fight him a little bit. It's kind of fun. I don't think I've ever seen a 111 cell pick up. Just look at that. That's like a quarter of my health at least gone in a second and a half. So now I really want to escape and find the Black Bridge exit. Pretty sure it's down here somewhere, but I'm getting dangerously close to death. There it is. But they're still on me. Look at that. Nick of time. Another unfortunate consequence of having a roll length like this is you can just skip the incomplete one. Very, very easy to do. You just roll whenever you get somewhat close and end up on the other side of that barrier. Harder to do in a normal run, but it's way too easy here. I picked up a meat grinder from the collector. Try increase my damage output a little bit. I think I went overboard on the incomplete one's health. I dialed it back a little bit from what it used to be. It used to be hit him for 10 minutes and you barely even dent his health bar. I'm going to speed this up because I ended up just kind of face tanking him into a wall for a while. It's pretty boring to watch. Not really playing well, I'm just trying to deal damage to him because he's got so much health. So yeah, I probably could have beaten him with this setup if I had not played like an idiot, but that's that. So that was my Insanity mod. I hope you enjoyed. It really makes the game a completely different experience. I don't have any plans to make this publicly available. I don't know how the developers feel about people modding their game, especially when it's in such an early stage like this. And I imagine that as soon as they update the game, this mod is going to break. It's probably only going to be usable on this version, just based on how the game files operate. So even if I did make it publicly available in a week, it wouldn't work. I'm pretty likely to not go through the effort of keeping this up to date with their game.